Here's 3 ways to instantly improve your hip thrust. The first one, as Laura goes into her hip thrust now, make sure we have a nice vertical tibia line as we extend the hips up. The second, make sure you're actually utilizing the band by pushing the knees out as hard as you can into hip abduction, okay? Not doing so will disassociate your glutes from the movement. The third one, as Laura hip thrust, do a couple more for me. Eyes and head forward and chin tucked. This allows us to create a posterior tilt at the top, which again maximizes the glute engagement during the hip thrust. Now, there's a few different things people do wrong on it, and it's basically going against those 3 points. Now, if Laura does a hip thrust and shuffles her feet too far out, and if you hip thrust from there, as you see, we no longer have that vertical tibia line, and we may feel those hamstrings recruiting more than the glutes now. And again, other direction, if you bend your legs too much, start coming into a hip thrust from there, we again no longer have that vertical tibia line, and you'll not only struggle to get your extension, you'll probably not be able to keep your heels down, and you won't be able to actually get your glutes firing. You might actually find your quads take over a little. Again, get back into a more comfortable normal stance. So as Laura goes in hip thrust now, she's going to allow the knees to kind of just collapse in. Yeah. So as you see, the band's now just gone a bit slack, and this means we are not abducting the hips. Remember, our glute medius is responsible for creating that abduction. So if we lose it, again, less glute engagement. So Laura just show us how to stretch out that band again. There you go, perfect. And you just hip thrusting up, making sure the tension is constantly in your abduction. Have a little rest there. The last common mistake is quite a big one. And when we talk about that posterior tilt at the end of a hip thrust, it's quite easy to lose that, especially if you lean back and forget the eyes forward and chin tucked cue. So Laura, if you give us an example of that. So extend the spine a bit too much, lean back, and as soon as she does that, she loses that tuck in the pelvis at the top of the movement. So show us how to do that properly. So eyes and head forward, chin tucked, a couple more there for her. Well done. There you go. So keeping the eyes forward and chin tucked allows us to maintain a nice posterior tilt at the end, and that's how you maximize your glute engagement.